you all before. I have felt this color. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bow, bow, down, bow, 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 down. Bow, chicka, bow, down, down. Bow, chicka, bow, 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 chicka, bow, 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 chicka, bow, chicka, bow, bow, chicka, bow, chicka, bow, bow, chicka, bow, down. Bow, chicka, bow, down, down. Bow, chicka, bow, down. Bow, chicka, bow, down, down. Bow, chicka, bow, down. What's up, Internet? What's going on? It's Monday. We got a little brown dog down here doing some yoga. Hey, you doing that yoga? Got a bitty brown dog down here. Got a Mr. Chips over there. Everybody's here. Looks like we got a whole bunch of people early to the chat today. Thank you, everybody, for showing up early, being prepared, having your Technicolor Dream Pants on, right? Is that how that goes? It's Monday, so you should have your fancy pants on. You should be having a good time. You should be maybe done with work. Maybe you're not done with work. Maybe work is never ending. I can relate to that. Because, you know, it is sort of never ending. But glad to be here today. On a Monday, on a beautimous Monday outside. The cold weather has returned, and yet so has the sun. So, I'm happy to say the sun is shining, and it's brilliant outside, and I can't hate on that too much. You know, I got all these little lights with me right now, so I gotta play with them a little bit. What does that do? No, not too much. Okay. But thank you, everybody, for showing up on a Monday. I'm not even sure what I titled the show as today. That's right, Planted Aquariums, a frustration waiting for growth. And yeah, we will be talking about that. Because, you know, in the video segment, you guys will notice that there isn't a whole lot going on because I'm going to start tearing down the 240. And in the meantime, I'm moving the killies, the killifish, to the 60-gallon cube. I have managed to move 3 of the 6. And I've got some terribly bad news for you guys. We're down to 5. We're down to 5 adult killies now. There are a bunch of babies and stuff, but we're down to 5. One of them jumped out on accident. I'm not sure how that happened. One of them must have rocketed into the sky like the SpaceX spaceman Tesla that is flying around in space. And unfortunately, it happened when I wasn't around, so I did manage to find a little dry fish situation. You guys will notice that I was 2 minutes late, and I did throw it into the chat. Hey, I was like, hey, hold on a minute. There's some cops outside. I'll tell you this much. I looked out. Well, what does it look like to you guys? That window. Oh, hold on. I got to do it left-handed. The window right over there. And there was a bright and shiny fella just standing there. Right outside my window. So I was like, hey, who's that guy? So I went outside to go see what was going on, and he displayed to me his police badge and let me know that there's a police thing going on and that it's none of my business. But he assured me that everything was fine, and I was like, okay. I think they were either serving a warrant or something like that, or checking up on somebody who's supposed to be on, like, house arrest or something. So, we do have a young fella that lives next door that has some interactions with the police, and so I'm assuming that's what it's associated with. I don't know what anything is about, but To everyone that was alarmed in the chat, no worries. Everything is fine. They were not like the full police guys. They were just like the dudes that are like, hey, man, we're looking for somebody. We're going to ask them some questions or something, you know? And you're like, oh, hey, tough guy. But everything is fine. They were not here for me or anything like that. I think they were just checking on the young fella over there across the way. He's a little bit of a scrappy young lad, and, you know, it's all good. It's all good. So anybody that's alerted, I don't have a... There is a story that I could tell about one of the interactions that I had with the young fellow over there, but it would all be alleged, you know, and then like, you know... Hold on. I have a computer fan over here that's driving me nuts. It's rattling around and making a lot of noise, and it's driving me crazy. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, no, there it goes. But I know what to do. I foiled it with a toothpick. But I'd like to say who's first into the chat today. A big shout out to Frank Dominguez back as the first one into the chat. Quickly followed by our homie from the United Kingdom, Mr. Douglas Palmer, who's definitely was keeping a lot of people entertained in the early chat today. Thank you very much for your time waiting for the show to get going. I appreciate it 100%. Thank you very much. You know, it's all good. Thank you very much for your time, and everybody that was early, like Candy Overhauls and Charlie List and Savannah Morrow and G Bear, BC Fish Room. There was a bunch of people in the early chat. The D Thomas CG was in the early chat also, along with a lot of other people, and I very much appreciate you guys showing up early and sharing it out there, letting people know what's going on, that, hey, this is a live show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and coffee does make me poop, by the way, in case anybody was really wondering what this mug was all about. It's legit. You know, he's got poor quality jokes, you guys. It's Monday. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, huh? But let's run through the chat here and say hi to a few other people that definitely do have some honorable mention, like my man Potato, who is hanging out there in the chat saying Candy got his foot stuck in the rafters again. He can't reach the computer. Oh, no, Frank was first. If anybody was wondering, he somehow made it. I think I uploaded the thumbnail and stuff around, I don't know, 10 a.m. or something like that, and he managed to get in there right away. What is with this shirt today? It's like riding up. It's doing weird stuff. Sorry, it's weirding me out. But let's say hi to a couple more people. Let's see here. Who should we say hi to? Mellow Moogle? What's up, Mellow Moogle? Good to see you. She's one of our moderators. You will notice the people in the chat with the wrenches. Those are our lovely moderators. We do have very minimal rules here, but we do have some rules, and that is don't be ridiculous and profane. And you know what 7 words they are. You know what I'm saying. If you don't, you could go watch an old George Carlin movie, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And the main rule is just don't be a dirtbag to other people. You know what I mean? Let's just be respectful. We love having a conversation here, answering questions and doing all that kind of stuff, but we're just respectful to everybody around. That's just how it goes. No, and then a couple other things that are just kind of minimal stuff. It's like obviously no spamming and that kind of stuff. If you do have a business or something like that and you want me to possibly talk about it at some point in time, go ahead and send me an email and we could probably talk about it at some point in time. But let's not advertise for stuff because this ain't the spot. But I'm happy to advertise certain things. And one thing I wanted to mention real quickly is that I did do a video about Easy Green early this weekend, and there has been a lot of conversation about Thrive versus Easy Green. And Colin is the guy who makes Thrive, and I would love to have tried out Thrive or something like that. I never have. I've never tried it, so a lot of people saying that like that is better and this is better or whatnot. I'd love to see the MSDS sheet so that we could compare them, because it seems like people are talking about a lot of opinion type stuff. So I would love to try out Thrive at some point in time, but Colin has never hit me up to try it out or anything like that. So, you know, it's out there. It's all good. I'm sure Thrive is fantastic. I know a lot of people have said that it's good, but I've never tried it myself, so I don't know. I tried out the Easy Green, and it's working well for me. So hopefully I portrayed that in that way. You know what I mean? Because that's all I was like. That's all it's about. That's all it is. So if anybody's really wondering what's up with that video and whether I like Thrive or not, I'm sure I do. You know, Colin's a cool dude, and I'm sure he makes a great stuff. I've seen some of his, you know, he's definitely working on his microscope and doing all that kind of stuff. And he's, I constantly see posts from him all the time about pump tops. For whatever reason, he's always trying to change up to better ones. I don't know, but I've never gotten like, you know, any kind of approached by that guy to be like, hey, try my fertilizer or something. I'm like, and I might try it out, you know. So, you know, if hopefully that like kind of stifles some of whatever is going on in that chat, and you know, I'll address that chat on you know, Saturdays when I normally get back to people's comments. I try to single that down to like, well, Wednesdays and Saturdays are kind of the mornings that I have time set aside for like answering YouTube messages. Now, I do it randomly sometimes, but those are kind of the times that people could have somewhat of an expectation to, you know, hear back from me. Oh, Jimmy. I see Jimmy. Jimmy's in the chat. Jimmy says to say hi to him. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Are we going to hang out tomorrow, Jimmy? Can we hang out tomorrow, Jimmy? Jimmy. Sashimi whiskey. Can we hang out tomorrow? If anybody's wondering why I'm saying Jimmy over and over, that is sashimi whiskey. That is Corey from Aquarium Co-op's better half. Well, better half professionally. His better half is the Dorcula, relationship-wise. And so hopefully Jimmy and I can maybe do some, you know, filming or something tomorrow. Maybe we could do some of that. I don't know. But I got a bunch of stuff I'm doing in the morning, so maybe I won't be up there early. But if you haven't checked out why I mentioned that is that tomorrow is the Real Fish Talk. I'll be up in way up north, like 70 miles that way. Sorry, 66 miles that way. Yeah, we'll be up there. We'll be doing the Real Fish Talk. That's at 3 o'clock also, which is like -8 GMT. I think. I still haven't figured out. I should probably go like look up a video of like people seeing how people say the GMT time, because I'm probably saying it wrong, and that might be helpful for those people out there that are in the really weird time zones like the UK or whatnot, like Armenstra Patey. What's up, Armenstra Patey? That is a wild name. I dig it. That is definitely a unique name. Haven't seen that before, but good to see you. Roger Deadham is here. Drew Schmidt, what's up? Good to see Drew. As you guys know, the rosefolia that's getting peppered around the tanks out there came from Drew's house. Zombie Drummer is here. El Guru says, what's up? Oh, there goes the dog. Biddy. Oh. Hold on. Got somebody knocking. Hey, man. What's going on? Oh my gosh, you guys, it came! Should we do a unboxing? This is gonna be the worst unboxing anybody has ever seen. What is it? What could it be? Sorry I ran off during the show, but since the police were outside earlier and somebody was knocking, I was like, I should probably go check on this. I should have like some music playing or something when I go away, but I can't do that. So we got an unboxing here, you guys, from Utbit, Utibit. And I think the only person in the chat that's going to know what this is probably Jimmy. Oh, hey. We've got ourselves one. And we've got ourselves two. What is it? Does anybody know what it is? This is so funny. It's like, this is one of those things that every once in a while I have to order these things. Once in a blue moon, and they're like $2.99. This is a bottom quick release plate for the camera. Because, as you guys know, I have a new camera, and I don't have enough quick release plates to go around at this point. Which is annoying more than anything. It's super annoying. And so I had to get a couple of quick release plates, which of course takes like way more weeks than it should. Well, no, I guess not weeks. Probably just, you know, it's probably just, you know, one of those things. Maybe a week and a half. I don't know. They probably sent it straight from China or wherever it came from. I don't know. I don't claim to know where that was manufactured because I wasn't there during the manufacturing. Man, we're 20 minutes in. It's been hot and fresh. Crazy show here on a Monday, but that's all right. It's a little crazy here on this show, and if people don't like it, it's cool. I'm cool with that. You know, that's life. Some people don't like things. But I see some people definitely notice that it's the Arca Swiss. Yes, the Arca Swiss bottom plate for the camera. It's basically the part that goes in this hole right here on the bottom of the camera. Yeah. And then you can just put it onto your tripod. I've had to change a bunch of my tripods and stuff because of the new computer. Or not new computer, new camera. And so that was just one of those goofy things that I needed to get. Like, I was like, wait a minute, I don't have enough plates right now. Something happened. But it's all good. And it really wasn't, you know, like I said, it was like $2.99 or something like that. So that's all good. Phil Emerson is here. Savannah Morrow, who I already said hi to. I guess I'm saying hi twice, but that's okay. Bentley Pascal is in the chat saying excited for the coral reef swap this weekend. You guys have no idea how much turmoil that the reef swap that is this weekend is causing with my spouse, because I'm going to have to leave a project here and go to the coral swap. But I will be going. I'm going to shoot some video and stuff like that of the Reef Expo that is this Saturday in Tukwila. So I'll be heading out to that on Saturday, so I'll be out there rambling around, and I'm definitely not necessarily going to be there at any given time. I don't know when I'm going to be there, so. But Hard Cheese is here. Ken M.A., what's going on? K.H. Sorensen, what's up? Asking what am I painting back there? I'm painting a thing. That's an underpainting that will be a painting of a thing. You'll have to watch later this week if you want to know what that painting is as it comes together. You guys will be able to check it out. Writing my arse off is here. We getting a story about the coppers? No, we don't have any of that. Chansky85 is here. Andrew Gibbous, what's up? There's a lot of people here I haven't necessarily read their name before, but Susan for SLC Aquatics is here, liked and shared. Oh, thank you very much. BC Fish Room, as I said earlier, is here. Freshman Aquatics, Wushu Jimmy Brown is here. My man, how you doing? Uh-oh, we've got super chats popping up here. I'll have to figure those out. Gavin McRae is early. Denise Lytle, how you doing? I think Denise sent me a message. I think it was Denise. If I'm getting the wrong person here, I'm very sorry, but I think it was Denise that sent a message earlier. Going to be passing on some heirloom seeds to myself and Victoria, and I'm very excited. Anybody out there that has heirloom seeds of something that they've been growing for a really long time, much appreciate that kind of stuff. As you guys know, Vicky and I love our gardening, our aquaponics, and we're definitely way into that stuff, and I'm super stoked to hear that there are going to be some great seeds coming in the mail. I believe some corn, some heirloom tomatoes, and something else that escapes my mind right now, but I'm excited for that. That's definitely very exciting. Let's see. Karen Pepe says, don't know why I have to back out of the app and back in every time I'm waiting for a live stream. I'm not sure. I think that has something to do with the codec, that the codec, once it actually goes live, I think it changes the number, basically. Like, it's just like, essentially like you have like a slightly different email now, kind of deal. So I think that's why you have to refresh it. If I missed anybody in the chat, it's because I'm scrolling down to get to the super chats that have popped up here. But oh man, so many people knew exactly what the tripod mount was. Wow, I'm surprised. Not to say that. I'm just kind of shocked. Most people wouldn't. I don't think necessarily like recognize it. Susan for SLC Aquatics says, wow, I just saw this on my iPhone with the $1.99 super chat. Oh, thank you very much. Maybe you just found the super chat features. Go ahead and throw a $1.99. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It all goes right back into making more shows and more videos and stuff like that. Anybody like the videos this weekend? I don't know. I got 2 out. I don't know how I did it. No, never mind. I know how I did it. But it kind of worked out. I think it worked out okay. And also, Vicky Toria's first video is out. So if you guys want to get a chance to check that out, you probably should. I think there's some funny parts in it, that's for sure. Let's see here. Betsy Cummings with the $5 super chat to buy your lunch at the Reef Expo. Enjoy. Oh, well, thank you very much. $5, I'll be able to get like a BLT or something that I like. You know, there's probably some good spots in Tukwila I could stop to and grab a snack. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Fuzzy Fish is here. What's up? Good to see you. Potato says, I found a tripod this weekend without that part, and unfortunately the only plate fits costs $18 from the manufacturer. Good news, I spent $8 on a tripod that was originally $150. Potato, it sounds like you found a Manfrotto. That sounds like you found a Manfrotto tripod at the used store, and I'm jealous. I always look for tripods at the Goodwill. I always do, because every once in a while there's an awesome one there, and it's like $5. It's a great place to go. Ty Hang is here. What's up, my man? Multi-Tank Addiction. What's up? Good to see you. Rebecca Harris is here. Niz the One. Think I should change my name to something more simple. If you like, you could change your name, but Niz the One, I get it. I'm down with it. I've asked people if I should change my I've wondered if I should change my name, but I do realize that at some point in time that people will just figure it out or they won't, and mainly because of the conversation that I had a little while ago with the what's the word? Who was I talking to? I don't know. I had a conversation a little while ago, and we were talking about whether or not I should change my name. I can't remember who I was talking to, but it definitely came up with we ended up settling on the fact that, like, if PewDiePie can be the biggest YouTuber around with a name like PewDiePie, I think it's fine. I think people will figure it out at some point in time. But I've also been using this handle for like 10 years on YouTube, so I think it would be kind of weird for me to change it now, but, you know, so that's what we ended up coming down. That's what we ended up just figuring out. Let's see here. What happened? What's going on here? Did somebody... Uh-oh, was somebody being bad? Oh, okay. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Somebody was misbehaving in the chat. You got to watch out for that. Let's see. Trying to read the chat and catch up. Joel just got some new clown loaches. Guppy Guru just got some new clown loaches. Oh, that's cool. Let's see here. Hey to the people coming in. Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Mr. Science Geek says, I've had this channel for 10 years. Hashtag YouTube OG. Yes. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm an OG. I'm definitely not, because I think YouTube had been around for like 2 years before I got on. So I definitely wasn't, I guess I definitely wasn't one of the early people, but I guess in comparison, if somebody has like only been on for a year, they're like, whoa, you've been on there for a long time. So yeah, I definitely have been on here for a long time. I think it's one of those funny things that, like, because initially my channel was just a bunch of nonsense, which was funny because when Rob from Aquaponics was here, he looked up my account, and he was like going through the old statistics, and he's like, man, this goes like way back. And basically when I, like, with air quotes, decided it wouldn't be right to say that I had launched my channel, because I never did the I never like launched the channel or anything like that. I never started out going like, oh wow, I should put videos out. I should do a thing. I should do this. I should do that. I definitely didn't. I wasn't doing any of that. I was actually initially I was posting a bunch of random videos or like stuff, you know, maybe caught on fire or, you know, whatever, just nonsense videos. But then I had taken those all down. And then when I started making videos, I guess I wasn't even in the vein of like making videos. I was pretty heavily involved in the forums and stuff like that at the time, for planet tanks and stuff like that. And somebody was like, hey, upload a video of your projects. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't even have any equipment at the time. I had an iPhone. Or it wasn't even an iPhone. I had an iPod. I didn't even have an iPhone. It was an iPod. And so I just grabbed that. I basically like made the worst video you've ever seen. It's still up. It's still up, and it's just the worst video you've ever seen. It's me like silently walking around my crappy apartment. And I definitely had a ton of aquariums in that apartment. I think at the time, I don't know, I think at the time I had like probably 16 aquariums just in the living room and stuff like that. And then I had a bunch of grow outs in the bedroom. And I don't know, it was just kind of chaos. I couldn't even really necessarily figure out exactly what it is. Mr. Science Geek says, I've been on YouTube so long, they invited me to monetize my channel. Yeah, actually, that's how it worked back then. They would send you an email that said you were qualified. You basically, early on, you were in like creator jail or whatever for a really long time. And you had to, you basically just had to like keep uploading and like making videos and like doing stuff. Initially, I think right off the bat, you could only upload like a 2-minute video. I think a 2-minute video is as long as you could upload. And then it like went up to like 5 minutes, and then you could upload a 10-minute video. And then for the longest time, I was at like 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, it went to like, oh, now you can do a 15-minute video. And that was kind of a big deal at the time, was like, oh, you could upload a 15-minute video. And eventually it was like, oh, now you can upload 2-hour videos. I think it's just like once you became trustworthy enough, they knew you weren't going to like rip movies and put them onto YouTube or whatever. But when the channel did get monetized, it's kind of interesting because I know that a lot of people are upset that there's a bar now, like where you could get monetized or not. But it's so much more streamlined than it was when I monetized a long time ago, which was probably like 5 years ago or something like that. I don't know when it was, but yeah, basically they didn't even tell you what the restrictions were. There were no analytics at the time, so the only thing there was just views. All you ever knew was if you got views or not. You didn't know how long anybody watched. You just had subscribers and view numbers. That was all the information that you would get. So back then it was a much weirder process, and it wasn't. There just wasn't like any kind of metric. It just basically eventually you just got to the point eventually that they were like, oh, hey, you're eligible now. And they would send you an email for it. So, it was a pretty interesting time. It was definitely super weird. And I never thought, so the initial videos that I put onto YouTube, was the, car crash type stuff, somebody getting hit in the face with a football or something, just a bunch of nonsense stuff like that. Basically, young guys doing stupid stuff like, what's a good example? Like the Jackass show or whatever, like people riding a shopping cart down a hill and then get hit with a stick or something. I don't know. It was all just nonsense like that. And, initially I was like, oh, maybe one of these videos gets really popular and then you make $1 billion or something, right? And, but that idea went away when I deleted all that stuff because I just really didn't even want to have anything to do with it. So when I started out the fish port, I was actually behind. I was actually backwards like 500,000 views. I was negative 500,000 views. So long story short, when Rob was here, he was looking at my account and he goes like, why does it keep going down? It's going down, way down past zero. Like way down past zero. And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, there was a point in time where I thought you would like win the lottery by doing YouTube, and that idea went away way by the wayside. Long before I even started posting fish videos. And then there was a point in time where I started posting fish videos because I wanted to explain some of the stuff that I've learned and things that I've tried to do over the years. And slowly but surely, I think I've gotten better at it. I think I'm still completely terrible, but someday I'll probably get some kind of cohesive idea on what I'm working on here, and maybe stop getting hit by a pitch and maybe like hit a double or something. So, but thanks to everybody for watching stuff over the weekend, I guess is kind of what I was getting to, was really just like, hey man, thanks for watching stuff over the weekend. I do appreciate it, man. Everybody showing up and stuff like that. So, MacD Press LL is here. Howdy. If you put the little avatar guy with the cowboy hat on it, that definitely draws my attention. So that's a good one. Jay Friends is here, 40 breeder with established filter and media. I just added 2 bags of stratum for substrate. Does anyone have any idea how long it's going to leach ammonia in amounts problematic to keep up with? Aha! Something I know about this stratum ammonia. You're going to be dealing with ammonia for a couple of weeks, depending on how many water changes that you're doing. As you guys know, the 60-gallon cube was set up with stratum, so yes, we were getting hit with some ammonia for a good amount of time. And you guys will notice in the video today, I was doing the final water change from the startup. And one of the really easy ways to, after a couple of weeks of doing some water changes and stuff like that, it will continue to release a little bit of ammonia. But the amount of ammonia that it's putting out would be just like having a stock tank. So let's say in my 60-gallon, it would be like I had 20 platies or something like that in there swimming around. So it's not an insane amount of ammonia. It's essentially put in there as sort of, and I'm going to put air quotes around this because I don't know, I don't make the product, I don't sell the product or anything like that, but it's essentially like feed the seeded material over the period of time that you would typically have set up the aquarium, you're letting it run, and it will cycle, it is releasing a little bit of ammonia in there, which will allow the cycle to just keep going. Which is why I find that like stratum or ADA really, really useful, because I don't have to worry too much about just setting up a tank, getting all the plants in there, letting it sit for a couple weeks or a month, letting the plants grow in and that kind of stuff before I even add any fish. And now I don't need to worry about adding ammonia to keep the bacteria growing or anything like that. So I find that to be a bonus personally, because I don't have to really monitor exactly what's going on. But I've heard people go as far as 90 days, even 6 months, where they're getting ammonia readings. But for me personally, I get past the initial 2 weeks of basically, I'll do a water change like every 3rd day, and it's probably like a 50% water change or something crazy like that. But as you guys see in the video today, I set up a pump and a hose, and it actually is really easy for me to do water changes because I just can drop them both into the sump, turn them on, and then just let them run. And I'll normally just set a timer depending on the size of the tank. With the 60-gallon today, I actually let it run for 11 minutes, I think. So that's quite a bit of the water out of there. The temperature had dropped a little bit, but that's also gonna that is also going to promote my killifish to drop their eggs, because that temperature swing, they're gonna go, oh, something's going on, and hopefully the females will drop their eggs, and they can. Hopefully we'll get a little killie farming action going on in that 60-gallon. One thing to look forward to, I will be building a sump very, very soon for that, and I'll do a detailed video on building the sump for that, so you guys will be able to check that out and go like, oh, here's a way that I could maybe do a thing if I wanted to do like a sump thing. You know what I mean? Let's see. What's going on here? Trying to catch up. Borg Aquatics just fed his shrimp some tomato. They seem to like it. I think they might be Italian. I wouldn't recommend feeding tomatoes to cherry shrimps, but hey, if it's working, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it because I've definitely never tried it, and I certainly haven't ever looked it up. And tomato is part of the nightshade family, so I would be a little bit worried that maybe you put something in your tank that could be problematic. I don't know. That's just my gut reaction from having read that. Yeah, so Jay Friends, you're very welcome. Hopefully that will send you down the right path. Like I said, I like the ammonia in the stratum because it just allows the tank to get set up and rocking and rolling without messing with it or throwing food in it or supplementing ammonia or any of that kind of stuff, I can actually just take some seeded bags of biomedia, drop those in the sump, and just let it go. And I know the bacteria is going to be like, whoa, it's a bacterial buffet. And they're going to be going bananas and just growing and spreading and being all over the place in there where I need them to be inside the new tank. So that's the way I look at it. Some people don't like it that way. There's also some people that there's also been some people that have been fairly upset with stratum and ADA as the the buffering capacity for the pH has a tendency to dwindle away, even though most people describe it as like a cliff. It's actually something that I've experienced, that it does dwindle down. But that's pretty easy to mitigate if you have like a really planted aquarium, a really established aquarium. You got some good amount of driftwood and things like that. And yes, you will slowly kind of work your way back to neutral. So instead of being at 6.4, you'll slowly work your way back to just 7, basically. And now, if you do have something like crystal shrimp or something along those lines, a lot of people will start to freak out that they'll go, oh, the pH is just going to murder them. But if they're in that tank, as that slowly progresses and changes, there's one of the reasons, yes, you may lose a couple of shrimp, but for the whole colony to die off, that's almost always 100% like ammonia or something along those lines that has gotten completely out of whack. It's not the pH just going from 6.5 to 7. That's not what's going to kill them. But once they are kind of adapted to 7 pH, it actually, I found my crystal shrimp to be much happier and breeding kind of more prolifically, really, once they had adapted. And then the second generation was definitely like, oh, hey, buddy, I could stick them in the mail and send them to places, and people that didn't have, crazy perfect aquariums for them were able to breed them and have them, even though I wasn't, I'm not a seller, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a shrimp company that I'm selling shrimp from or anything like that. I never was that dude, but I did find in that experience with those shrimp that they were much hardier. They were ready to go. And by the time, I got them to other hobbyists or any of that kind of stuff, they had a much better experience, like adapting them to their system. And it was really quick. It was really quick how that would go down. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's going to keep coming up in the chat. People are going to keep posting it. I guess we have to hit the like button, or the Skynet will... I don't know. I don't know what Skynet will do. They'll make another robot that will freak us all out. Did you guys see those crazy robots that open the doors for each other? That's freaking me out. That's freaking me out. My good buddy Celia was here last night, and she's got a buddy who works for those roboteers. I'm gonna call them roboteers, because I don't know what are you, a robotics expert, probably something like that. So she has a good buddy that does that out in Boston, and it's a roboteer, robotics expert, science guy. And we were actually talking about that kind of at length last night, about some of the crazy stuff that the robotics departments are actually coming up with now. And yeah, some of it's a little bit creepy. Like the robots that open and hold the door for the other robots to go through. That's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Although I'm not paranoid. I mean, sometimes there's police standing right outside my building, and I just go, hey, man, what are you doing? I should have yelled at him to get off my lawn. That would have been good. That would have been pretty good. But the guy was kind of ageless. I couldn't tell if he was 50 or 25. He was like one of those dudes. I couldn't tell how old he was. He's just sort of like, that's like a guy. Okay. And so I wasn't really going to pull any funny business. Because maybe he was like an old cranky guy, and then he might get mad and tase me or something, which would not be cool. That wouldn't be a cool time. That's not a good day, getting tased. Swift Aquarium says probably robotics engineer. I would prefer roboteer, you know, like a puppeteer, but with robots. You'd be like a roboteer or like a rocketeer. Speaking of that, I actually knew a rocket scientist at one point in my life. And I could always reference that, like, yeah, well, they're a rocket scientist, okay? Which was great times. It's always great times when you could reference somebody and go, well, they're a rocket scientist, so clearly they know it is rocket science. Which is good times. Let's see here. Let me catch up a little bit on the chat. Oh, luckily we don't have any super difficult super chats today. They were both pretty easy. Let's see. Oh, Shelby's in here, and people seem to be asking what her question is. Where'd it go? Let's see here. Quinn Mallory says, please don't change your name. My phone just learned it, and so it doesn't autocorrect all the time. No, I'm not going to change my name, you guys. Don't worry about that. I guess hopefully the story was good enough to go like, yeah, I'm not going to. It's been way too long. Derek Runyon is here. What's up, my man? Hopefully I get your plants out on Wednesday morning. That is tentatively my plan. It has been frosty, cold, and snowy here and stuff, and so I haven't sent out the plants for Derek and, gosh, I don't want to forget the other guy's name. Let's see. Oh, okay. Bentley Pascal just sent me an email. I'm gonna read that later, even though maybe I just read it. Let's see. Oh, where is it? It's over here somewhere. You guys, there's a lot of people been emailing me. Stefan, Danny, Stefan. Okay, there we go. Stefan Lawrence and Derek Runyon are hopefully I can send your guys' plants out on Wednesday and get them out to you. No, I'm not selling them. I just happen to have extra plants, and those guys emailed me for them, and so those were the spots. And I was like, yeah, cool, man, I'll send them to you. I got some extra guppy grass and some other nonsense. Going out to those guys, so whenever that's happening. Tara McDonald's asking Derek Runyon where he's from, but you spelled his name wrong, so probably won't notice. Lucky Schmucks Fish Tanks with a $5 super chat saying 16 tanks in a rack system to enjoy, 20-gallon longs. Name 3 fish species I must include. Can be spread over 3 tanks, planted tanks, hard water. Well, if you have heavily planted tanks, your hard water won't really be a problem at any point in time. But I would say that if you're going to have 16 tanks in a rack system, you gotta for sure get some unique looking guppies. Now, that doesn't mean go down to Petco or something like that and find one that just looks cool, because I've made that mistake. Okay. I would definitely do a little bit of research and go like, do I want some tiger endlers? Do I want some panda guppies? Do I want, figure out which guppy that you want. If you got racks like that, you definitely have to get a cool guppy. For me, I would probably say tiger endlers are up there as kind of my favorite. Would be one that I would point and go, yeah, we definitely got to do that. 16 tanks, you definitely have to have some kind of dwarf pleco. and get those breeding. Now, obviously, right now, I have the bristlenose placos, right? The bristlenose placos are what I have. So I would say, of course, bristlenose placos. But because of my own vanity, I would say, oh, man, you got to do some kind of other dwarf pleco, like a clown pleco or... Gosh, something went down the wrong pipe. Excuse me, guys. But maybe like a clown pleco or something like that, or maybe even a higher end pleco. Those were always, the higher end dwarf plecos were always off my radar because they're super expensive. Like for sure, super expensive. But having seen like the L134s and stuff that Corey's got, that definitely is a thing that pops into my head. Savannah Morrow says rubber lip plecos are cool. I would definitely have some dwarf plecos along that line, whatever you feel like doing. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, I'm like coughing up a fur ball or something over here. Excuse me. Had to have a little Mr. Brown there. But the other thing I would definitely think of, I guess the third thing that I would consider would be, obviously betas, because I gotta have betas. I gotta have some betas in my life. I'm a little disappointed in myself that I don't have any betas right now. Kind of sad about the whole thing. So instead of being sad, I would probably just do some awesome betas. Maybe some wild ones. Maybe you could find like some weird ones. Maybe like a Dumbo beta. Those are awesome. Some cool Dumbos or something like that. Those aren't super expensive, but they're fun to breed for sure. And you could definitely 3 tanks, kind of do that. Have your own little breeding thing going on. It would be fun. Let's see. Mr. B's Fishing Things with a Canadian $5 super chat. Saying you're killing us with what the new art is. So, well, yeah, I don't know. You'll have to tune in throughout the week, and then you guys will figure out what the new art is, because you'll be able to see with your eyes what it's going to be. But I also do have a whole bunch of I do have a whole bunch of new art projects coming up over the next couple weeks. So hopefully people are checking that out. Like I said, I've also got some sump stuff coming along that you guys will be able to, there'll definitely be a video for that. I'm also building some other strange stuff. We got some real fish talk stuff. It's just busy right now. Over the weekend, I'm actually going to be putting in a fence, and we're going to build a new chicken coop. So, boy, howdy, there's going to be a whole bunch of crazy projects coming on over the next couple weeks. I don't know how I'm going to get them all done. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to order some more Mr. Brown and just never sleep or something. I don't know. I'm not 100% on exactly what's going on. And plus, I'm doing the frugal thing. I'm being as frugal as I possibly can to hopefully get the new camera lens. I'm on a struggle right now to figure it out. But that Canon 16-35, I think, is going to be the main lens I'm going to be using. I definitely got some good comments from Karen Pepe in regards to renting some lenses, because renting is going to not cost very much. But the 16-35, I'm going to be using all the time. So I'm going to just have to suck it up, and hopefully I got enough projects and stuff like that that I can swing it and just go ahead and grab that lens. But it's $1,000, so I don't know. I'm trying to find one secondhand. I haven't been able to find one yet that secondhand that was in good shape. So there was one I found that was like adequate. And I was like, oh, adequate. Okay. Yeah, adequate's normally pretty good, right? And I went and looked at the description, and they were like, a couple small scratches on the glass, but don't worry, it doesn't affect the... I was like, so the lens focuses light and brings light into the camera through the glass lens. And, you know, there's just some scratches on it, but it's not a big deal. I'm like, stressing me out. You're stressing me out, person selling the thing. Jimmy is asking if it's a 1635 f1.8. No, it's the 1635 f4 is the one I'm looking for, because it does have the image stabilization, so I don't have to electronically crop down what I'm doing. It's actually got IS built into it, into the lens, so for shooting, I mean, I don't need image stabilization in picture lens. I mean, picture lens, I don't need image stabilization. I mean, I can use this pancake lens right here. It don't matter. I'll move. My legs are in good shape. I'll move. And so that's not a big deal. But with video, that's where it really like lies in the problem, because oftentimes if I'm shooting somewhere like video, and I'm sure Jimmy knows what I'm talking about, but I'm sure a lot of other people know what I'm talking about too. More often than not, I'm shooting handheld, I'm walking around, and some image stabilization is always welcome, just to make it a little bit easier to get those weird shots. You know, the aquatic experience was like a perfect example of whoops. I had to throw away a lot of footage from the aquatic experience, you guys, because I really just... Honestly, I just wasn't paying that much attention, mainly because there were so many people there filming already that like I was just getting some base shots that I wanted. And then I really wasn't paying that much attention, and so I ended up throwing a bunch away. I know I did post a video about it, and I think it came out fine, but that was with a lens that had image stabilization on it, and I still still was a bit of a mess. We got a super chat here from JH Aquatics, the Fish Fam News himself, JH Aquatics, with the $777 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. Dude, I for sure appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're down there in the Virgin Islands going crazy, doing the news, running around, catching fish in streams, doing a bunch of good work. Definitely dig it. And that's awesome. Thank you, man. I know you're out there working hard. And he's saying for hashtag Peru or bust. And as you guys know, I'm trying to figure out how to fund the Peru trip. You know, basically Corey and Bob are the ones that brought that up. They want to go to Peru and catch fish and do that stuff, and I'm stoked. I would be stoked to do that, you know, but they don't let you on the plane for free because for whatever reason, I don't know why. They just don't. And I figure, you know, they should just let me on, you know. I'll just be like, hey, bro, it's cool. Like, we're cool, bro. We cool. Let me on a plane. We cool. Right? But they don't. They just don't. New England Endler. I added a heaping teaspoon of earthworm castings and bat guano to my 20-gallon planted tank today. Think it will help, or am I wasting my time? Bat guano is a huge waste of time for your into your aquarium. That's weird. And worm castings are generally considered a hot fertilizer unless you've let them sit out for like a year. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that'd be problematic. Let's see. Candy Overall says, I think he only has one kidney left. Oh, Joel Gillett. See, my name is Joel. Joel Gillett's name is Joel. And it gets confusing sometimes. He's saying I should sell a kidney because that's my normal go-to. But as you guys know, I already sold my kidney for my last camera. So I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And somebody was asking when my birthday was. And my birthday is in... Oh, man. My birthday's in like 7 weeks or something like that. So maybe, just maybe, I'll get lucky for my birthday. Which would be cool. Oh, it's a Sunday this year, you guys. Ugh. Actually, that's not too bad. Actually, if I have a Sunday birthday, that means I could probably do like a barbecue or something. Ooh. Now I got my brains thinkings going on. Maybe I should do a barbecue. Should I barbecue for my birthday? I don't know. I'm going to leave it up. You know who I'm going to leave it up to? I'm going to leave it up to Swishweemy Whiskey. If the Swishweemy Whiskey wants to come down on a Sunday for my birthday barbecue, then I'll do it. Because I didn't make it to his birthday. I didn't make it to his birthday lunch this last weekend because, honestly, Vicky was not feeling well. She's kind of like have a cold and was just feeling really crummy on Saturday, and then wanted to. She was just didn't want to give it to anybody, first of all, and second of all, she was just feeling pretty wiped out. So we ended up not making it to that. So maybe I'll leave it up to that. I'll go that route and just be like, hey man, if Swishimi Whiskey says I'll do a barbecue. Oh man, there he is. He says you got yourself a damn deal. You got yourself a deal, mister. All right. Well, that settles that. I'll do a barbecue for my birthday. Maybe I'll invite some of the fish fam. We'll see. We'll see who can make it. Maybe Carson. Maybe a couple other people. We'll do some barbecue action. Some people saying dry barbecue or sauce barbecue. Hey, Borg. Both, man. We do both. We do both here, okay? We got a brand new smoker, okay? We got a brand new smoker. Vicky's job has this, like, you get bonus points and then you can like buy stuff with the points from their online store. So basically you do like a really good job, then you can like accumulate these points, you know what I mean? At Vicky's job, and she accumulated enough points to get us a free smoker. So I got the smoker and the barbecue. I'm also interested in trying some crazy stuff with some crazy stuff with what's the word? The freeze dryer. I want to try some crazy freeze dried stuff. Oh, Jay Wilson sneaking into the chat. What's up, my man? Good to see you. I don't know when Jay Wilson's going to come out here. I know he's going to come out here at some point in time. Maybe he'll come out for my birthday barbecue that I'm going to do. That's in April. I'm not going to tell you guys my exact birthday, but it's a Sunday. Let's see here. Denise Lytle. Thoughts of raising tilapia or catfish for food in indoor tubs? Oh, man, I'm loving this question already. I have seen people put their chickens over them on mesh wire. Is there a worry of bacteria from the chicken poop? Oh, man, I love this. I love this. Oh, this is crazy maze. I love this. This is fantastic. Over the next couple months, I'm going to be able to actually demonstrate some of this. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Can I say I'm so excited for the super chat? This is the awesomest question I've gotten in a long, long time. I'm super excited. It's bright yellows. It's $10. It's from Denise. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get seeds from her too, and I'm freaking out. Take a deep breath, my man. Take a deep breath. Okay. In, out. In, out. Okay. Hold on, before I answer this question, I do see Miss Lininator trying to figure out how to super chat. I don't know how to super chat from my iPhone. I hate iPhones. Not that I hate that people use them. Feel free to use whatever you like. I cannot stand using them myself. It drives me bonkers. So I'm an Android guy through and through, and I could not tell you how to do it. I can't answer it, so hopefully somebody in the chat. But what I can tell you all is, right before I answer this question, you could always go to the Patreon and just become a patronizer. We're almost up to the end of the month. How Patreon works is once a month, you essentially say, hey, $5, $10, $7.77, $20, whatever you want. Once a month, you get charged to basically sponsor me for making shows and making videos and stuff like that. We do have some big goals on there to do some big projects down the road. You can actually check that stuff out. We have a community page. There's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of availability to either communicate with me. You can post pictures up on there. There's a lot of kind of cool stuff that you could do on the Patreon. That's my main reason for having the Patreon. Plus, you know, we know what's going to happen with the Patreon. It's like it charges at the end of the month. You always, you know, and obviously it's an ongoing charge. So if you leave it, you could always raise it. You could always lower it. You could always drop out. You can go like, hey, this guy Corvus is an idiot. I don't want to have anything to do with this guy. You know what I mean? So, and basically it just seems like the best platform to help people out. You know, I was actually listening to the H3 podcast the other day, and they were like, look, man, they had the Patreon rolling, and they had the Patreon people like supporting them, and eventually that's what kept them off the ground, the operating costs and stuff like that. And that's really what that's really like what supports me and stuff like that. I know that some people go on there and they're like, man, it's a lot. And I'll tell you, I'm honored every time I go over to the Patreon and look at that and just go, 275 people kind of believe in whatever I'm doing here, which is crazy. And every time I'm astounded by it. You know, it's like $1,000 a month is what we're at right now, which is not a lot of money for eating top ramen. You know what I mean? Although I did find some new udon noodles, and I'll probably make a video about making some of those noodles because I'm kind of excited to try. It's a noodle product that I've used a lot of times, but it's a smaller package, so I'm actually going to mess with that and maybe make a little cooking video because it's been a long time since I've talking about cooking, and that's kind of one of my big jams in my life is the cooking action. But yeah, if you can't super chat or any of that kind of stuff, you can always do that. And if you know, here's one of those things is that like I know that some people are like, look, I don't have $1, and I'm like, dude, I get it. I try my best to not sound like I'm preferential to people. I try to read the chat as much as I can while I'm doing the show here. But sometimes stuff gets missed. If it does get missed, you're accessing the internet right now, so I'm going to assume that you have internet access, which means that you probably have an email address. You can always email me a message or a question or something like that, joel@darkstararts.com, or you can always just post it in the comments down below. I always recommend people to post in the comments. I don't respond to them immediately. I do get to them on a schedule. So it's like, you know, I remember somebody got super mad at me because I hadn't responded to them in like 3 days, and I was like, well, I'm responding to it now, so I don't know. Well, you know, it's kind of awkward, but I know how it is in this world nowadays. I'm like, I call Vicky, and I'm like, why didn't you answer the phone? You know, and she's like, I was busy. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I was being impatient. Yeah. You know, so that does happen, and I know how that is. So, but you always can send an email to me for free. It is free. It's complimentary. It's a complimentary service provided by yours truly. As I mentioned, Bentley Pascal sent me a email, which I was hoping to hang out with him this last weekend, but it was too much snow and everything, so he didn't make his way down here. But it sounds like he's probably going to be at the Reef Expo, so maybe I'll be able to respond to what he's asking me about in this dealy bobber here and this email here, and then maybe a little something coming his way. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. Oh, BC Fisherman said I'm very generous with my time. You know what? I try. I do fear the day where I'm like, where I'm not going to be able to like get back to people all the time. But I do have to admit that I am a little bit inspired that if that day does come, hopefully we'll be at the point where we go, all right, I got to hire somebody. I got to hire somebody to help me, you know, like respond to people or that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll get to that, you know. Hopefully we'll get to that someday, you know. But this super chat right here from Denise Lytle is very exciting because this is one of the big projects that you guys will be seeing us, Vicky and myself, Vicky and I, will actually be putting together a project similar to this super chat, and I'm going to read it again. Thoughts of raising tilapia or catfish for food in outdoor tubs? I have seen people put their chickens over them on mesh wire. Is there a worry of bacteria from the chicken poop? Now, this is what I am doing on our little piece of property world here. This little piece of property world space, whatever you want to call this. The house with the land where we be living. That's what we be doing, right? We're going to be building this, but we're not going to be consuming the fish. Now, tilapia, catfish, perfect example of, see, I'm just going to be doing koi, but tilapia and catfish are great fish growing for food. If you're going to be growing them on a small property, or, you know, if you're like us and you only have this little, you know, we have like maybe a little over a half an acre here, but we are in a residential area. It's not like we just have this unlimited space. So, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be growing koi instead of catfish or tilapia. And as mentioned in this super chat, she's asking, I've seen people put chickens over essentially one of the ponds. You'll put a grate over it so the chickens can go hang out over it, and they could be pooping basically down into the water, which chicken poop is extremely hot. And when I say hot, it's got a lot of ammonia. It's got a lot of uric acid in it because chickens only have one place for their waste to come out. So actually their poop and their pee is mixed together. So typically with the chicken waste that we get with the manure and the wood chips and all that kind of stuff is that we'll let it break down over the next year. We'll use it the following summer. Now, there are some ways to mitigate that and get it quickly going, but I don't think today's show is really the day to really talk about that, but we will talk about that later in some edited videos. But this is exactly what we're going to be doing here. And but what the water does with how hot that manure is that the water basically spreads that out. It spreads that out over a large area and is able to mitigate that. Then the fish actually eat the waste, right? It's the chicken manure is actually at a point where fish can eat it, right? So first of all, the uretic part, the urine, is going to kind of dissolve within the water and kind of be dispersed around the water, right? Then the manure part is actually eaten by the fish because the fish is like, dude, that's food. I can eat that. So they eat it, break it down even further, and then everything else that gets left into the water is waste. Yes, it for sure is waste, but most of that waste is going to be picked up by an aquaponic or a hydroponic system. Now, hydroponics typically don't have fish. That's what they're called, hydroponics. They don't have the fish plumbed into them. Aquaponics means that you have fish plumbed into growing plants, right? Those growing plants are just going to pull a ton of that stuff out of the water if you have the plants growing properly, obviously. And then that really starts to create that cycle, and you really end up with a lot of product. And the product that you end up with is fish for eating and vegetables for eating. Now, the vegetable part is just wild, okay? It's just wild how much you can grow if you have a good amount of light coming. That's all you really need to worry about at that point. And it really is more substantial than people really expect, and especially when you start, it's almost, now this is a bit of a joke here, and people are going to freak out and later on correct me. It's almost like you can watch your plants grow, because it's almost day to day. You can be like, oh wow, that thing was like this big, and then tomorrow it was like this big, and you're like, that's decidedly bigger than it was yesterday. And one of the big reasons for that is we have so much carbon dioxide in the air now, that plants can just uptake and grow as long as they're getting a good amount of light to them. And them being above the water, you can just blast them with light. The only thing you could, if you blast them with too much light, you could burn them, but you're never going to grow algae or anything like that. So, and then also, in an aquaponic hydroponic system, you can actually run algae scrubbers, which are an amazing invention. If you can get one definitely up and running, then an algae scrubber is just a huge help. But that's what the plants growing in the aquaponic system are basically doing. They're sort of like an algae scrubber that you can eat. You know, so I don't know, pretty exciting to think about it that way, and I'm excited to I don't know, I'm excited to get our system going, and this weekend is the beginning of building that system. I'm super excited. If you guys watch Friday's show, I'm probably going to have dirt all over my face and be freaking out and talking about a bunch of nonsense and just being like, oh my God, these ponds is going in, and there's a fence, and there's a thing, and there's a chicken, you know, and I'll probably be going totally crazy. Uh-oh, what did Sashimi Whiskey do? What did he do here? What did he do? All right. Well, I'm not worried about the Sashimi Whiskey. He's allowed to have a wrench. He'll be fine. He's the kind of person that does self-correcting. You know, he'll self-correct. He might make a mistake, but he'll figure it out. Mr. Science Geek says watching your plants grow is more fun than watching NASCAR. Yeah, well, it depends on the day. Really depends on the mood. KG Cichlids is here. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Nick K, how you doing? Let's see. Borg Aquatics is here. Sean Nebula, how you doing? Cloaca equals vent. Yep. Dan Squires says, haven't lost any of my Amanos to any fish, even the 6-inch hap. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Amanos are pretty quick. They're a pretty hardy shrimp, and they don't necessarily get eaten all that often. I saw Mass Aquariums. Where did he go? He was saying something. 2 picks for life. Where'd he go? Oh, there's Mass Aquariums. What's up, Mike? Good to see you. We have Master Hacker V with a $2 super chat asking, will 7-inch goldfish eat 1-inch Amanos in a planted tank? Oh, that's why people were asking about the Amanos. It is possible. Typically the Amano shrimp get eaten by goldfish and stuff like that at night when it's lights out. You know, they just can't tell when somebody's coming for them. And when somebody's coming for them and they're trying to get them, they don't know because it's dark in there, and that's normally when they would get eaten, and that's typically when goldfish are able to do predatory type behavior. Normally we see them during the day, and they're kind of like, hey, buddy, hey. They kind of turn into murderers in the night, mainly just because they're not that quick and feisty, but they'll take their opportunity when they can get it, and that's normally when you see them going. But as mentioned earlier, the Amanos typically are pretty darn quick and pretty smart and able to get out of there. Betsy Cummings says NASCAR is bad just to start with. I know. I always thought NASCAR was terrible until I really got into, like, just seeing what the sport was. And then realizing how fast they were going. They're going 210 miles an hour, which is insane, realistically. And everybody has, like, the same car. That's the thing that I think is cool about it, that, like, everyone has the same car, you know? So, I don't know, but I never watch it. I mean, because it is pretty boring to watch. I mean, 280 laps or something like. I mean, come on. I mean, they could probably do it in a half an hour and figure it out. Maybe. I don't know. Like, just give everybody, like, a whole tank of gas. Or maybe just, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's their format. I don't care. Whatever. But, yeah. I mean, if you like watching plants grow, it might be better. Anyone excited to see the new F1 cars? Not really. It's just money. Money buys that sport. Caleb Munium. Hey, man, love your vids. Just wondering, how deep should my gravel be for a planted tank? Just basically depends on the size of the tank and how you want to scape it. Is really kind of dependent on how deep it needs to be. It really only needs to be like 1.5 inches for roots to essentially go in. And then I would also take into consideration which type of plants you're going. So if you're going to put a bunch of Amazon swords, you're going to have to go like 4 inches deep at least, because they have a giant root ball. But if you're doing carpet, 1.5 inches is plenty. So you don't need to go super crazy, but figure out which plants you want to go in, what plants you want to go in there, and then you'll be able to figure out like how deep it has to be for it. But I mean, realistically, if you want to just go bare minimum and the type of plants that aren't super deep rooting, you just go 1.5 inches and you'll be fine. That's just enough space to like plant them in there. If you look at like Monte Carlo, it only goes down, the roots only go down like maybe 1 centimeter, you know? So, that's just all you need. Guys, dealing with some sick hashtag truth. What happened? I don't know. Truth. Mr. Science Geek. Let's see. Mr. Science Geek is that Schwisky Vision. Monster trucks are cool because things get crushed like my hopes and dreams. Hey, I know somebody sent me a message earlier that that they felt like whatever was going to happen nothing was ever going to work out for them. And you know, I would remind anybody out there that I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the future is going to be. And if you do have a crystal ball and you think like, or like you can see the future, you know what's going on, I would encourage you to change it. If you have a crystal ball that works, then I would figure out some way to utilize that tool. But I mean, if you interviewed me 5 years ago and asked me what I'm doing now, there's no way I would have told you I'm doing what I'm doing now. So it's a bit by bit by bit by bit. Every little thing is just a tiny little thing that gets you closer and closer to whatever you're doing. And more often than not, we're never really exposed to the beginning and the middle. We only ever see the finish line. You know what I'm saying? So it's very rare that we ever get to see anybody who's in the process of going. And that's another reason why I really like doing these live streams, having a back and forth with you guys, because I can actually show you guys actively as things are happening and stuff like that, that the progress of things that are evolving and coming along, instead of going like, hey, check me out, everything's awesome, I'm so cool, bleh, you know. So that's why I like to do this stuff. So just a quick friendly reminder to you guys, if you're feeling like whatever's not working or whatever, start making some small changes. Don't make these giant changes. Just start incrementally improving whatever you're doing. And that sounds like a big pain. Yeah, it is. It's a big pain in the butt, but it's worth it, you know? Like, it's all good. You just do the little itty-bitty parts, you know? Big Texas Tanks with a 555 super chat. What's up, Joel? For the Michigan trip, lol. Can't wait on the Aquaponics videos. I can't wait on the Aquaponics videos either. I can't wait on the Aquaponics project. Can't wait to start digging some holes and cutting some boards and throwing some concrete down and getting weird. Definitely going to be exciting. So, turn your crystal ball into cake pops, then everyone's happy. Yeah, everyone likes cake pops, you know what I mean? So, Let's see here. so, Schwisky Vision says it's okay to suck. Oh, well then good. I'm doing all right then. So let's see here. Let's see here. I'm running through the chat. Okay, cool. I don't see any questions that are pressing. All right, good. Well, we have some opportunity here to move on to the video portion of the day, which I will remind people is not that fantastic because it's more over just some overshots and stuff of that's going on. The main thing would be I was just going to kind of highlight here a little bit, moving around and grooving around and doing some things and showing you guys what I'm up to in the fish room. As you guys can tell, it's definitely not show quality in my room, in my fish room right now as far as the floor goes, because I've got tangly wires and nonsense going on. And, you know, here's the thing. You guys watch the live show, so I don't mind showing you this kind of stuff, just so you guys know things are a little bit of a chaotic mess in the fish room right now, and don't get super freaked out about it if yours is that way too, because everything's just going to be a little step as things get more and more organized and move along. It's not that big of a deal. Don't stress out too much about it. You can easily shoot around this kind of stuff if you're making videos or anything like that. JH Aquatics says, getting close to 10K subscribers. We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to get to 10,000. It's taken me 10 years to get to 10,000 subscribers, and we're not there yet. I think we're about 500 short or something like that. But I hope to get there. I hope to get there someday, you guys. So if you know anybody who's interested in fish stuff or art or long format talking for hours on end, you know, maybe somebody's into that. And that's one of those things. I'm relying on you guys to help share, you know, help share and promote that kind of stuff. Share and promote and do that kind of stuff, because, like, if you guys like the show, there's probably some other people that like the show. I'm just trying to hit 0.5% of the population. That's all I'm trying to hit here. Is that a big ask? It's not a big deal, right? Mr. Science Geek covers his wires with water. Lots of water. BC Fish Room. My fish room is like a mad scientist lab most of the time. Yes, mine is almost always like a crazy mad scientist is all up in there doing nonsense all the time. But I will say, this is the one killie that was super easy to catch. One of them got down into my sump because I had to remove the filter screen because I had too many ram's horn snails caught in the filter screen. It's a bunch of stupid nonsense sometimes, you guys. You know what I mean? And one of the things is that I was getting too many ram's horns caught in the overflow screen, right? And so I had to take that screen off, and within like the overnight, basically, one of them went into the sump. But on the upside, that was the easy one to catch. The easy one to catch was the sump one. The other ones, not so much. And as I mentioned before, I've only got 3 into the new tank. I got to get the other 2. I've been trying to lure them out, and a lot of this video has to do with trying to catch those dang shrimp or fish. So it's really not the most interesting video I've ever put into the podcast, or is this a podcast or is this a live stream? I don't know. But it was pretty fun. I can't hate it too much. Someone's going to freak out because I'm about to put a Fluval 2.0 over my sump. Someone's going to freak out. It's actually a spare one that I have. And I put it over the sump so I could see really well. And try to capture anybody. But here's the cool thing. Remember that Apisto that was in this aquarium that made its way into the sump? She's full grown now. She's full grown. living in the sump, which means I'm going to be able to move her up to the main display fairly soon here, and hopefully she'll breed with one of the 2 males that's up there. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we'll have ourselves some really cool Apistogramma cacatoides, which will be very exciting. And although I will say I was down at the Aquarium Co-op the other day, and they had some of the triple, double, super duper reds, triple super duper reds. I don't know, double, triple. And I was really kind of like, man, I want some of those really badly to breed with my other Apistos, but did I get them? No, because I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. But I'll probably actually end up getting a couple of them fairly soon, and then we will walk through the what will we walk through? We'll walk through the quarantine process, you guys. I have noticed there's been a lot of posts recently, especially like on the face pages and stuff like that, where people are freaking out about cross-contamination from a net from one tank to another. And I don't know who's broaching this subject, but it's pretty much nonsense. I don't know that there's anything in the water column that using a net and just that little bit of water from the net could somehow poison the whole tank or contaminate the whole tank. I don't know. I don't know who's spreading that around, but I do have specific nets for specific tanks. I just normally leave them set up on the sump. Like, here's this net that I normally use here. If you are somebody that only has one net and a couple of tanks or something like that, I would just let them air dry. Okay, just let them air dry, and that's going to be fine with a net. Anything that will survive through being dried completely will not be killed by any of the chemicals that you are going to be able to dip said net into. Multi-tank addiction says Joey said he cross-contaminated his tanks with ick. What? How? Huh. Oh, okay. I guess the king of DIY cross-contaminated his tanks with ick. Okay. Well, that's weird because ick is everywhere, you guys. Ick is not something that you're going to be able to get rid of because ick is everywhere. It's in all water. It's an opportunistic. It's opportunistic. It's in all water, so I don't know what that's all about. Different tank. Spread ick from one tank to another. Oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you could spread fully matured ick from one tank to another, but if it's in its larval stage, it's attached to the fish. If it's in its transition stage, it's in the water column, and then it will go down and essentially repopulate, and that in the the substrate or wherever it lands or whatever. But that's kind of weird. But ick is in all water. It's opportunistic. There's no way to eradicate it or anything like that. Reggie Holland says, Joel, love you, buddy, but several things can transfer like that. Columnaris is one thing. Ick is everywhere, okay? You are right, though. The chances are very small, and yes, ick is in water all the time. Yeah, so, I mean, if ick is in water all the time, then you couldn't be transferring it from one, right? I mean, you can't, if it already is in the water, if it's in that water, and that water, I can't be transferring it from one to the other if it already is in there. I mean, it's an opportunistic, it's opportunistic. It's just like saying, I have something with no bacteria in it. It's like, yeah, you could possibly eradicate it through an autoclave and go, okay, well, I've got nothing here, but as soon as you bring it out into the air, it's no longer sterile anymore. He was plop and dropping new fish, and he set the net on top of another tank. Oh, okay. Well, either way. All right. Okay, so I guess that's why that's definitely been coming up quite a bit. Okay. Well, could be possible, I guess, but I don't know. That seems really weird. Okay, well, that solves that. I guess I'll go look up that video and see what he has to say about it. Simply Discus spreads it around. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go check out that video and I'll see what that's all about. Okay. Either way. Whoa. Hey. I guess the mailman's here. Multi-tank addiction says, it didn't make sense to me either. I was under the impression it was in all water too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the thing that kind of throws me off. That I was reading earlier that from quite a few people, actually. You know, that was one of those things, is that there were a lot of people that were posting about that today. So I was wondering kind of where that came from. I guess it was the king of DIY, the Lord. So, okay. Well, I guess maybe he had an outbreak or something and he needed to find something to blame it on. All right, we'll move on. No big deal. No big deal. Let's see. Mr. B's fishing thing says all fish have ick. It's that simple. Yep, it's just kind of everywhere. Everywhere. Short shorts have arrived. Yeah, I just so anybody out there that's really wondering, just let your nets dry. Because I did see, you know, because this conversation came up a little while ago when Tazawa Tanks was on the Real Fish Talk, because he's doing a maintenance business. So he's going from like one place with tanks, and then he's going to another place with tanks, and he does have to sterilize his equipment. We used to sterilize equipment when we'd go place to place to place, right? And that's because we didn't want to take, you know, for instance, we didn't want to take like columnaris worms or anything like that from one place to another. Now, I didn't do this very often. I didn't do maintenance business or any of that kind of stuff, but I have been privy to cleaning the equipment because I don't like going out, I don't know, doing that as a job, I guess. I don't know. But I have definitely cleaned the equipment, and I've done that many times. And you know, we used to bleach everything before it went anywhere. And then, of course, people freak out because they're like, you can't use bleach. Yes, bleach works fine. And yes, there are other products out there, but bleach is the easiest, most effective, and super available. Hydrogen peroxide is a great one. That is one that will work very, very well in between. Like if you have to go from... Like let's say I had 2 fish rooms and I was going to go from this fish room to the one in the house in the basement or something, right? That's what I would do. I would either do a bleach, let it dry, or I would do H2O2. H2O2. I would do hydrogen peroxide dip, and that will normally knock most things off pretty readily, and that's the way that I would go about it. Oh, you guys... This isn't a super chat, but this is a Patreon pledge. Tim Lewis just added an extra 5 spot into his Patreon pledge. Thank you very much, Tim. You're a huge supporter, man. Thank you very much. And shout out Tim Lewis. Much appreciated for your long-term support, and thanks for upping it. It's big time. That's big time. That's not semi-pro. That's big time. If anybody knows who I'm talking about. Love that guy. Let's see. Nick K is asking, if you scoop up a dead fish, is air drying sufficient? Yeah, typically anything that's going to live through complete air drying is not going to be killed by, you know, hydrogen peroxide or bleach. So those are normally the extremophile ones that just, there's nothing you can do to kill them. So I wouldn't really stress too much about that if you have let them completely air dry. I mean, obviously, if you have scooped something nasty or something along those lines, I would rinse it out. Well, you know, just some tap water, rinse it off, let it air dry, you know, and you'll be fine. Sometimes people's paranoia allows them to go down certain roads where, you know, they may or may not be following the science anymore. That's definitely happened. I've seen that happen. Where'd the thing go that was over here? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Where'd the other thing go? There was another thing, you guys, that was over here. Where'd it go? All right. Okay. Sometimes I got to click those buttons. Let's see. Nick K saying thank you. Oh, very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, just let all your stuff dry. As I don't know if I've ever even. Well, yeah, I think I did show it off in a video. We do have like a little octopus that I hang all my nets from that dry. Oh, you want to see a moment in time right here of frustration? Here we go. It's coming up in the video. Y'all be froggy on the video. So if I ever do anything in this aquarium, the killifish will come and bite my arms and bite my fingers and hang right around me until it's time to net them into their new, brand new, fancy home that I set up for them. Then they will go and just completely ignore and not bite my arms and stuff. So that's pretty much the entirety of that video, is me trying to catch the killies, but luckily I have some video here of 3 of them being in the in their new home, and we can, you know, just kind of casually let that play in the background while we answer a few questions and stuff like that. Mr. B's asking, what am I looking for in the video? I'm trying to catch the killies so I can put them in the 60-gallon and then let them breed in there, because the mamas are really ready to breed. They're ready to lay their eggs and stuff. So part of so one of the big reasons for moving them over also will spur them to drop their eggs and stuff, because they're actually, I pre-planned a change in temperature from moving them from here to there. There is a drop off by 8 degrees. So the main tank that they're in is sitting at 76. This one's sitting at 68, and then we'll climb back up. So as going to drop them over, that will spur them to just be like, oh, hey, the seasons have changed, and then it will bring them back up, and won't generally be a problem. KG Sickle says, got to go, great stream, gotta take my daughter to karate class. Hoya! Bye, everybody. We'll see you later, KG. We'll see you hopefully Wednesday, and we'll be hanging out. Savannah Morrow's asking, did your female guppy give birth yet? No, that fish is antagonizing me with, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know if she's just fat from being overweight or if she actually is pregnant, but I swear she's pregnant, and she should have given birth to some fry by now, and it just has not happened, and it's starting to drive me a little bit nuts. And let's be honest here, when we say reality is a pain in the buns sometimes, and that's just kind of what's going on right now, is that I'm just having to wait. And it's probably because I started the whole thing with Corey that I was going to start with the pair. You know, that's probably why it's taking so long. You know, somebody probably talked to them, and it's a big setup. It's a big, crazy setup. And it's a guppy that's going to look like she's pregnant, but it turns out she just maybe needs some more greens in her life instead of pie, but I want to eat some pie right now. I got some cookies over here. I'm going to eat them. So that's going to be the deal with those. Bare Bottom Aquariums is asking 8-degree instant temp drop isn't a problem at all. Not with killies. Not with killies, my guy. Killies are rustic fish. There are some really awesome National Geographic videos that you can actually see them jumping from puddle to puddle to puddle to puddle and stuff like that. They are a really robust fish. They can handle quite a bit. I'm not saying to instigate them into, I'm not saying like abuse them or anything like that, but as they jump through, as they jump puddle to puddle and stuff like that, they go through extreme temperature swings, water quality changes, and stuff like that. They're a pretty robust fish when it comes down to it. I'm thinking that the one jumped out probably from the sump. There was probably 2 of them in the sump, I'm guessing, and it probably jumped out from the sump just because of the kind of chaos that's going on down in that water. Not water quality, but just all the turbulence and air bubbles and all the crazy stuff going on there. And killies will definitely jump when they're like uncool with the environment. You know what I mean? Savannah Morrow says, I dropped the tank temp for Corey breeding. Yep. Oh, Simply Beta is here. What's up? What's up, Simply Beta? How you doing? I have to say, I was pretty jealous of Simply Beta when I saw that Fluval's tripping. Hashtag Fluval tripping. Sent her some new lights. The new planted lights that Fluval sent to Simply Beta. I was jealous. I'll admit it. I'm not proud of it. But I was jealous. Maybe someday Fluval will come through and send me a light. Oh. Okay. It was just momentary, you guys. I'm all right. I'm making it into a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. Actually, I was jealous for half a second, and then I was just excited that you got them. And so hopefully they're awesome, and I'm looking forward to hopefully they I'm looking forward to see if those are working out fairly well. So, let's see. Drift and Driftwood says, I prefer those who speak with you rather than at you. Just saying. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good take. That's a good take on just life. It's just life. That's one of those reasons that I like to do the live stream like this, is that I can actually talk with people instead of just making videos all the time. Because if I make videos all the time, I start to feel like I'm just saying stuff at people. Like that's pretty much the appraisal right there, is that like I feel like I'm just saying stuff to people and then like I'm just gone. Like I'm just kind of off into the world, and it's like, so I definitely feel that's one of the reasons that I like to do the live stream. I feel like someday we might streamline this into a different kind of show or something like that. But in the meantime, I'm totally happy with, and I don't really care if people think the show's too long because they're like, it's 2 hours long, I can't watch the whole thing. Okay, I get it. That's all good. But I also feel like I like the 2-hour format where it's like I can really just kind of run through stuff, talk to people, and actually have time to answer questions and stuff like that. It was one of the big issues that was approached to me so today we had 225 people live. We're down to 195 now, which is totally awesome anyhow. So, but at that point in time, when this subject was brought up to me, it was brought up by some people that were like, what's going to happen when the show gets super, super, super busy? Well, the same kind of thing. It will just keep happening. It's like maybe I won't be able to answer 10 questions per each person over the show, but I'm going to keep doing it. And, you know, I also have the Patreon where people can post on there. We also have the email address that, like, you guys can get to, and all of those things. So it does add up. But, you know, I also think it's better because we definitely can work on bigger projects and stuff like that. I do feel like at some point in time, one of the projects that I want to try and do is try and, like, for instance, I'm not saying any one company or not, but, like, let's say Aquarium, right? Like, let's say Aquarium decides they wanted to sponsor this show, right? I would say, okay, I'm into that, but I want you guys to, how I would want them to sponsor, for instance, in the future, this is an example, you guys, would be, okay, I need 50 10-gallon setups with a filter and a heater and a light, right? And I don't want you to send them to me. I want to get 50 people, and I want everyone to have the same setup, right? And do an experiment, right? And be like, okay, all 50 people are going to document every week, like, some pictures and some things of what they're doing, and then go from there and do some kind of experiment. I'm not going to tell you what the experiment is, but that's the kind of stuff that I'd like to do moving forward, right? In the future, you know, so that there's stuff like that we could do. And, you know, it's just some of those ideas that I have that it's like, well, I can't do that now because it's just too big of a thing. But, you know, it's stuff like that where it's like, look, I've got big, crazy ideas of stuff that I want to do, and it definitely involve people. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know, but I don't even know how I got to this point. I'm just kind of rambling on. Let me answer some questions from the chat, and then I can relax. Mr. B says, I'm not delusional. I know I'm fat. I enjoy life. I too eat the cookies. I eat the cookies. I love the cookies. I do work out quite a bit. And I'm not trying to shame anybody or anything like that. But just like me with my drinking and drug use and stuff like that in the past, I had to make a change. So don't fear it. If anybody's out there fearing making a change or anything like that, but if you're super happy with everything that's going on, kudos, man. Keep rocking and rolling. Like, who cares? It's your deal. It's your deal. Let's see here. Simply Beta said, "Hi Corvus, haha, the new Fluval Nano Light is pretty dang neat. Gonna set up a new tank soon. Don't tell the hubby." All right, I won't tell him. I'm sure he already knows, though. He seems pretty smart about the whole situation. I think he signed up for it. Let's see. Jeffrey Rosenbarb. Oh, what's going on here? Let me see what we can answer here. Jeffrey Rosenbarb, when are they actually going to make an ick med that really works? Is the parasite so resistant, or companies just trying to make money selling junk that doesn't work? Okay, so ick is kind of confusing to a lot of people, and as I mentioned earlier, it is everywhere. It's in the water. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You cannot get rid of ick completely. But what we want to do is eliminate it as a parasite from our fishes, okay? And what ick-X and stuff like salt and all those things that you do, it is opportunistic to stop ick when there is an ability to kill it off, right? As it's propagated into too many. When it's in its free swimming stage is really the only time that you can do anything with it. When it's in that free swimming larval stage, it's basically coming from the fish down to the substrate, then it's going to propagate, then it's going to come back up and try and cling back onto the fish. That's just the real short and easy way to explain it. But when it's free floating is the only time that we know a way of killing it that won't murder everything else in the fish or in the tank. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could drop a nuke on it and that'll kill it. You know, but that's going to kill everything else, and the radiation would all be problematic, you know what I mean? So there'd be a litany of problems to deal with the nuclear weapon being deployed at your fish tank. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. It's the only way that you can actually treat for it without killing everything else. So it is a little bit of what's the word? That's really the only way to quit or to kill it is when it is in that free floating stage. Nick K is saying way off topic, but I need some Joel realness. Hey, what up, man? I'm here in the application that I am here as much as I can be. And the question is, any tips on quitting drinking or smoking? I stopped drinking 3 weeks ago and clean and started cold turkey from 2 packs a day for 2 days. I'm sweating at night and having crazy dreams. Yes, I can give you a lot of advice on this stuff. In order to quit drinking, if you've been drinking a lot, most people don't realize if you're going to quit drinking can be a medical situation that you could die. If you go cold turkey, you need to go to the hospital and get the doctor to do a really simple blood test on you to make sure that you have the correct, so that you're not going to detox in a way that could harm you. But sounds like, Nick, you're 3 weeks later. You should be hopefully out of the woods, but I would definitely go get checked up if you could. It is available to you. I know that there is, doesn't even matter if you have health insurance or something like that. I think you can go and get it sponsored to get it covered, to get checked. To quit smoking cigarettes, there's a bunch of stuff in place for that, which could be, you know, the patch, could it be the gum, could it be chewing on toothpicks, could be anything. Whichever it goes on for you, that's going to be the best way. But for quitting drinking and stuff like that, most people don't realize how dangerous it is. And, you know, if you need the medical help, go get the medical help. As far as the crazy dreams and the sweating dreams and all that kind of nonsense, working out, eating right, going to meetings, whether it's meetings with a psychiatrist, meeting with a psychologist, meetings at Al-Anon, AA, Smart Recovery. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. There's a whole bunch of different places where you can go to meetings and stuff, and just go talk to people and figure out what's going on. Like I said, I went to AA. I went to AA meetings and that stuff. It worked great for me because those guys gave me some direction on where to go. And they had answers for me when I was like, what do I do about this thing? They were like, go over there. I'm like, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. I was consistently concerned with not knowing about what I was supposed to be doing. I never knew what was going on. Those guys helped me out. Those guys, and I say those guys because I mainly went to men's only meetings because I just, you know, because yeah, I don't know. I just went to mainly men's only meetings. You know. Let's see here. Cool. All right. Hopefully that helps you out, my man. But we do have a new patronizer, a brand new one during the show, which, as you guys know, during the show, I like to shout them out if they come in because I get the alert over there. From Alicia Cummings, a $5 pledge. And by the way, you guys, we're right up on the end of the month. Wednesday is going to be the last show of the month. So hopefully you guys out there that have been hanging on the fence, whether you want to patronize or not, we're coming up on the end of the month. So if you want to patronize, hop over there and get it in there because then it'll be a whole nother month before you ever really kick in. So like I said, there's a couple of days left here. And to everybody that's posting Bob's live in the chat, yes, I know, and I will direct you guys there when we get to the end of the show. I know that I had mentioned it earlier. That's one of those things to, like, please not promote other shows or other things. I mean, it's fine. I understand you guys are excited and you want to go there. I'm going to go there too. I'm going to be over at Bob's Steamfied show, and I'm going to be heading over that direction. I wanted to say thanks to some people for coming out today. Nathaniel John, I used lemon drops to quit smoking. There you go. It's a great example right there. And a lot of people giving the best of luck to Nick. Just keep rocking and rolling, man. Remember, today is the only day that you have to deal with. You know, that to me was the biggest hurdle that I couldn't get over mentally, was the fact of going, when people would broach the question, like, you're going to stop doing this for the rest of your life. That sounded like a crazy, thing when people would bring that up. And I got reminded by a friend of mine, and I'm going to remind it to you. Today is the only day. Right now is the only thing that you have to deal with. Like, tomorrow doesn't exist. The day after that doesn't exist. The next 30 years, the next 40 years, none of that nonsense exists. Right now is what you have to do. And if you're paying attention to right now and not doing the things that you know, if you're not doing the things that you don't want to do right now, you're good. If you're doing what you want to be doing right now, then you're all good. And you just keep doing right now, all in a row, just like that. This is really the only thing that you have to deal with, is the right now. And guess what? That stuff starts accumulating, and eventually you get to the point where you're like, oh, that's not that weird now. So I would definitely focus on that, but I don't know what it is for every person. That's just what it was for me. Jessica Day says, it was really careful. That fish seemed fine. Though I did lose my honey gourami, jumped in a bucket and the cat ate it. Oh no. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because that's crazy. Like, the cat ran over and ate it. I'm not laughing at you. Jessica Day says, my seal broke on my tank. I put all my media and fish in a bucket with an air stone. I have a new tank now, but I was wondering, what do you think my media would have lost its cycle? So far, water is testing okay. How long was the media out of water? If it was underwater, it should be fine. I mean, the amount of bacteria will, you know, like a speedometer, the amount will go down slowly. But I wouldn't worry too much about it if it's been underwater. If it completely dried out, then all your bacteria will be dead, and you'd have to start over. But if you did keep it wet, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Zappa Mahoney's here. Hey, big fan. First time on your live stream. Is a skinny, underweight, 3-spot blue gourami that still eats lots a sign of internal parasites? Thanks in advance. Generally speaking, that probably would be something that's going on. Would probably be internal parasites or something like that. Would generally be a thing. But we are 2 hours in, and it's time to end the show, so we're going to head on out of here. I'm going to send everybody over to Bob Steenfott, where he'll be live and answer some of your questions and stuff like that. You get a little back and forth with him. Fairly, I think our shows are different, but it's in the same vein, and everybody likes Bob. I like Bob. You like Bob. I like good Bob and bad Bob. I like hashtag good Bob. I like hashtag bad Bob also. I like them both. So he's a great guy in person, and he's a great guy on the internet. So I'd head over there, check him out, let him know that I sent you. There's 210 people here. Now we're down to 165. There's 165 of you that could, what do we call it? Corvus raid. That's what it is, right? I think that's what it is. I think it's a Corvus raid. Any questions I didn't get to, you can always pop over and put them onto the Patreon, or you could email them to me, or any of that kind of stuff. Edo Gonzalez, sorry you made it. It's over, yes, but it will upload as a video. Y'all can check it out later and watch it and drive while you're driving around in your car and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully I have a short video tomorrow. If not, either way, we'll see you at the Real Fish Talk with Corey from Aquarium Co-op, and I will be talking to you all later. Anybody seen the button